start recording. And I wanted to thank you all for joining us again as we continue our slightly wild adventure. One month ago, I know for me, this seemed like a crazy, probably non-viable option for theatrical endeavors. And here we are a month later, and the world continues to change. And I don't know about you all, but I'm seeing everyone scrambling to go viral. So I want to thank our ensemble again for jumping into this project quite blind, like the rest of us, but obviously they've had some more work to do. And just in case you were unaware, because I'm not sure if I ever clarified this, I had not met Carla, Rachel, or Kendra before we started this project. Lydia is a friend of mine from quite a ways back. They knew each other, and I was more concerned that they had a bond before we started. But if any of you are thinking about starting a new project, I just wanted to say that I think it's possible to create those relationships virtually, although I really do look forward to the day that I will meet everyone, including all the directors, in real life. As you know, my focus with this laboratory has been working with the ensemble and with a live audience. I think we're pretty confident that an actor, a monologue works pretty well. But how do we create with multiple performers? What is the audience experience? And how do we curate the generative material into a live performance? Of course, all of this work, as we move forward, will require many discussions among our ensemble, reviewing the work that we have generated, and lots of fine-tuning. I'll be meeting with the ensemble in the next week to see how we feel about moving forward on this adventure and hopefully moving towards a live virtual performance. Today, we have a different spin on ensemble and collaboration, where several of you will sit in the director's chair and lead us in an area of exploration. When we dreamed up this project, I wanted to create a truly collaborative environment, so I'm really excited that you are taking us up on this offer. Likewise, I hope that as you move forward with your own projects, you will let us know what you are up to. Perhaps invite another director into your rehearsal room and we can all continue the collaboration. You might have seen that I am looking to start a devising Facebook page. And part of that is so that we can keep in communication with one another. I'll check later to see if any of you would be interested in helping to moderate a page like that, because I definitely don't want to take on all of these projects on my own. And I imagine it as a space for us to share resources, ideas, and projects as we continue to explore Zoom and other virtual platforms which we make work better. In fact, I just learned this week that Culture Hub is about to release Live Lab, which may turn out to be a viable platform for this kind of work in the future. So I'm excited to see what the possibilities are. Today, I'll be leading the first experiment with different forms of audience. And then we will be led by Emmy Parker, Monica Flory, Aries Harper, and finally Kelly McMahon. And we'll finish up this session with your feedback as we have in the previous sessions. I would once again like to ask for volunteers to be audience for the first session. Everyone else will hide, actually everyone will hide their video to start so that we can get the ensemble on. I imagine that they're going to be able to be seen at the top of the screen, and then I will ask some of the directors to turn their video on as a public audience as they rehearse their choreography. I had several people who had volunteered before, but I just like, if you don't mind, if you're interested in volunteering to be part of this public audience, I'm asking for 4 directors, and then I will ask for maybe a couple more after we try the experiment a couple of times. So would any of you be interested in joining us as a public audience for this experiment? Yep, that's Saffron, Aries. Okay, Saffron, Aries, Emmy. And who else was their hand? Carl? Okay, perfect. Okay, that's perfect, that's 4. So I'm gonna ask everyone to turn off their video and to hide non-video participants as we have been doing. And then once the ensemble gets themselves situated, I'm going to ask those 4 directors to rejoin the scene.
And Carrie, for the ensemble members, because this is an audience thing for us, do you
Yeah.
want us in speaker view or do you want us in gallery view? What do you want us to see?
It's up to you. This is part of the experiment. Do you see the audience? Do you not see the audience? Okay, at this time, could I ask those 4 directors to restart their video? Okay, that's perfect. So one thing that I'm learning is that the order in which people are shutting off or turning on their video is, I'm not sure how you're seeing it on your scene, but I am seeing the 4 ensemble and myself. I will hide myself in just a moment. And then I am seeing the 4 directors underneath. So that's very interesting to me because it helps to control what we are seeing in the space. Okay, I'm gonna turn off my video now. So if you're on a computer also, you can control what you are seeing as far as the size of your screen, right? So you could change it to see maybe the 4 ensemble on the top and the 4 on the bottom, or a wider or narrower screen. You can play around with that as you're watching. For the ensemble, what I'd like to do is go through your choreography. And so I'm going to count you through. Let me just make sure that I invited everyone in. Okay, perfect. And I did ask the ensemble to use the virtual backgrounds for this round, so that would be even more clear who is the audience and who are the performers in the scene. I know we've still struggled with some of the virtual backgrounds, and in some cases we have made the situation better. In fact, Carla's, I think, is working a lot better this week. She's changed her lighting and she's put up a screen behind her. So we'll see. Every week it gets a little bit better, I think. Okay, I'll be counting you through. So we'll be starting again with walking, running, looking, hiding, and then breathing.
Lydia and Kendra, you guys are still on mute.
Thank you. Okay, are we ready?
I don't know how good these cats are. They're always going to do everybody. I don't know about this background.
I think, Kendra, if you could go in front of your chair, it might work better. Or even remove I don't know if you can move the chair out of the... Whatever's most comfortable for you now.
Okay, let's start.
Okay, are we ready? Walking, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Running, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Looking, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Hiding, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Breathing, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And scene. So this is something that I just realized today, right? How do we know when the scene is over? And give permission to the audience to react. So in this case, if you could, at the end of your breathing, turn off your video ensemble.
Okay.
So that it will go black and we'll only see the audience. And then at that point, audience, you can choose to do the jazz hands kind of appreciation. You can turn on your microphone. What feels comfortable and in what way do you want to react to what you just saw? I would like to experiment with both the listening to the reaction. But I'm going to invite some of the other directors on in a minute to do that too. So we'll see how you choose to react, but you do have permission to turn on your microphone and react that way. Okay. So also for the directors who are observing, I'm going to ask you at the end of this one to chat a response, a positive response to the ensemble at the end after the scene is over. So any kind of positive response or observation that you see at that time. Okay, ensemble, are we ready? We'll try it one more time. And walking, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Running, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Looking, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Hiding, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Breathing. Okay, again, if any of the directors. Great, and if anyone wants to add a chat, a response. Okay, and ensemble, you can come back. Okay, and at this point, if anyone else would like to join in, audience, director observers, you can restart your video and everyone can open their mics. Everyone, if you could turn on your mics. That means all director observers. Okay, great. And at this point, let's give them an actual round of applause and see how that goes. Congratulations. Okay, great. Very interesting, very interesting. And for some of you, I know it's like watching yourself, watching the show. I mean, there's a lot for me to go back and review in this little experiment here. Okay, thank you so much. I am going to turn it over to Emmy, who is our first guest director for this session. She's gonna have 15 minutes. Emmy, I'm going to give you a 2-minute warning just to let you know, when we'll be moving on. But Emmy, I'm turning it over to you and have fun.
Awesome. So basically what we're gonna do is play a game. And this is intended for the ensemble. However, if any directors would like to play a game with us, you're more than welcome to stay on. We're gonna do this in 4 steps. I ask that if you'd like to participate, please turn your mic and video on before step 3. After that, we need to know who we're working with. Ensemble, you don't need your background anymore unless it makes you happy, but up to you. So I'm gonna focus the first question. I know, that's how I feel. Focus the first question towards the ensemble. Can one of you give me a suggestion of a
Sorry,
child?
hold on. My video just disappeared. I'm
Yeah.
not sure why.
Hold on, let's see if I can bring you back.
Not sure if I'm visible. I can only see Emmy.
I can't see you anymore.
Yeah.
There you are.
Okay, perfect.
I can still only see Emmy, which is super weird. Oh, there we go.
You missed, there, okay.
Great.
Yep. Sorry. Go ahead. Go
So
ahead.
somebody from the ensemble, can you give me a suggestion of a childhood game? Something common enough that we've probably all played it before.
Red Rover.
Red Rover. Great. That's step 1. Step 2, we're going to review all of the rules of Red Rover as we know them. And we'll just do a hand raising, 1 rule at a time. If we can just go around, everyone list off anything that they know about this game.
I don't know this.
That's fair.
All I know are the words, roll over. So I know, I really don't even know. Are there rules?
Well, Rachel, you have some rules. Do you want to get us started?
So, wow. Red Rover, you make 2 lines of people like across from each other, across a field or something. Approximately equal numbers of people on either side. And then you all hold hands on each side and you yell, Red Rover, send someone's name who's on the other side over. And then they run over and they try to break your interlocked hands. And if they don't, they join your team. And if they do, I don't remember what happens if they do.
Does anybody remember what happens if they do?
Don't you just get through? Don't you just, is there a purpose? Don't you just break through?
Win something.
You just win breaking through, right? Getting through. I kind of remember that part.
I think you get to pick people to go back to your side.
Yeah, maybe your team gets people.
Are you added to that line?
Only if you don't break through, you get stuck on that side. So they get more people and they win. The game is to get the most people on one side.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's important. That's the goal. And you lose by having nobody left on your team, or is it like?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Good to know.
I think you get to go back if you break through. You get to go back to your team.
Okay. Do you get to take anybody with you?
Don't remember. Does anyone remember?
I was too small for that game.
Yeah, I also don't know if I really ever played Red Rover, but you've given us a lot of information, which is great. Okay, so that is our rules of Red Rover. We have 2 lines of people. You call somebody over, they have to break through. If you break through, you get to go back. You want your team to have the most number of people. Step 3, what we do now, which suggestions from everybody, we are going to come up with new rules to this game. The kind of rules that we can play here, and you can change up the rules entirely if you want. You can add elements from other games. So everyone should probably contribute a rule. If anybody has an idea right now, I'll take the first suggestion of some way we could adapt this game. Think things like, instead of this, we do that, or throw a curveball and change up the game entirely.
We could walk backwards to the line as opposed to walking forward. I mean,
Okay.
Instead of maybe that's not what I want to say.
What if each team wore like different colors so we could see like who was on what team here visibly?
Okay. What is this question? Yes, in this case, specifically for this virtual space. Okay, so we're talking about a distinction of colors so we know who is who. Great. How do we get...
Are in the blocks, like how like Carrie was saying, we can make the lines with the video. However, we were signing on. Carrie said that we could sign on and then it determines the order of where people are.
Yeah, I don't think it's always the same for everybody, but what we can do is we can assign people. So if one person has like the alpha screen, then everybody else can fall into line with that. Okay, that's a good suggestion. What about how are we breaking through? How are we invading each other's space?
Yeah,
Pick the hardest game.
you did.
I played hide and seek like this, so it's possible. All right, so we have yelling. Also note that we have chat options to work with. We can turn off our videos, we can change things, maybe.
What if it's like everyone has to turn off their lights or something, and then the last one who turns their light on, whatever color shirt they are, they're on the other team now?
Ooh. Okay, so then what's our cue? If we all have to turn something back on at a time, there's a cue for something that has to happen.
Someone vocalizing, but who would be the leader?
That's something we can establish. Anybody else have suggestions? Wild things we can mess up with this game.
I'm gonna mute myself.
Now, do you mean suggestions as far as how we can convert this into a virtual game, or if you were playing it in real life, how you would just completely make it wacky?
Well, essentially just converting the game in general, but spoiler alert, step 4 is playing the game. So it should be something that we can do right now.
Okay.
So it seems like it wants to be a buzzer game because we all have clickers. And
Okay.
so breaking through the line is the first person to activate the buzzer, right? So if we all use the emojis or something, the clap emoji, the thumb emojis, and it's like 3, 2, 1, go, and then whoever is calling the game sees the thumb, that person's broken through.
Okay.
They
Okay.
have at the same time they've been blocked, something like that, that lets us use the built-in infrastructure to represent winning and losing.
Great. That's awesome. So we've got one person who's going to call out, maybe someone will call out which emoji to use. And then everyone has to try to hit it at the same time. First person to gets the point. Rachel?
I feel like with so many of us, it could be hard to tell who was first. So like incorporating the whole like red rover, let blah, blah, blah come over. You could call out like 2 people to go against each other. So then there's only 2. That might be easier to tell
Okay.
who broke through versus, and like whichever one wins, they go to the opposite team or
Mhm.
however that is.
Great. So it looks like we're going to have to establish teams. And yes, Carla.
How do I add the emoji part? Like, where's that? It's on my phone.
Great. So if you're on a computer, there's a reactions button. And in the reactions, there's a clapping and
see
a
it.
thumbs up.
Yay, okay. I
Great.
just didn't look for stuff. I just
Good job,
came
Carla.
to the stage. So,
Let's see, how many of us do we have? 6, 7, 8. We have 8 of us. We'll have to be split into 2 equal teams. We could do ensemble versus directors. That's an easy split if we're all ready to play like that. Maybe, how many people can you private message at a time? Maybe one team will private message each other and make a choice, or one person on the team goes first.
You can only private message one person at a time, unfortunately.
Okay, good to know, good to know.
Could our leader just choose people, like be the lower? Well, we can't do that because we're split in teams of 4, so it wouldn't quite be fair.
Okay. This is interesting.
What if like we turned up? There'd have to be like an honesty factor of one team turning off cameras and sound and just like la 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 as the other team conversed.
That's interesting. I played one version of this where somebody left the room and we chose a leader like that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we couldn't do it today, but maybe when you play this, everybody has to have earbuds. And then when it's not your turn, everybody just has to pull the earbuds out.
Okay.
There's also, it's not on this version, or maybe it is. I think Carrie would have to use it, but Zoom has something called breakout rooms. You could break out the groups,
they
but
do
then
have those rooms.
Mhm.
Yeah, I did that with in a classroom. They had breakout rooms.
Yeah.
But I don't know how we would come back together, all together, other than this way.
Okay. So, I'm trying to think how to incorporate the breaking of the line. Let's see. So if one team is going to call out the red rover for the other team to do something, and they have to respond with the emojis. Do we not tell them which emoji they need to respond with, and the person who gets it right? So maybe like the person who's calling it out decides it's the clapping hand emoji is correct that time, and you guys all have to guess, and whoever guesses it correct stays on your side, and whoever guesses it incorrectly joins the other team.
So conceivably, with one turn, we could win.
Yeah, definitely.
It's a good game.
Okay.
Great. So trying to think how to make, I guess it's just going to have to be one leader from each team takes the lead for that round. And then what's the phrase? Right? Yeah, go ahead.
Are we calling out 2 people from the opposite, or the whole team? The opposite team is trying.
Ooh. What do you guys want to do?
I don't know.
I've been talking a lot. Somebody else.
Yeah, keep talking. It's your game, Rachella.
It's all of our games. That's the point.
Yeah. This is
picked
the new and
Red
improved
Nobody plays
Rover.
on the playground at all.
This is an old game. Okay, this is not a new game, Carla.
I still don't remember. I remember this.
You couldn't even play this nowadays without getting consent forms signed.
There you
so.
go. That part. That part.
True.
I consent to being elbowed in the face.
All right, well, let's try this game. And when the other team plays, maybe you have to have your hands up in the air so we know that you're not prepping your emoji button in time.
Okay. So
Emmy,
We'll
this is Carrie. I just want to let you know you have about 2 minutes left.
Great. We're going to just play this game really quick and see how it goes. Concept is one team is going to call out Red Rover, why don't you come on over? I don't know. That works. And then I will have drawn a horrible picture of the one that I'm choosing. And then when I say it, you have to guess which one I've drawn on this piece of paper. And everyone who gets it right gets to stay. Everyone who gets it wrong is on the director's side. Hands up.
Who's on what team?
Directors
Ensemble
versus
versus
ensemble.
Directors versus actors. Okay.
Okay.
So we have our hands down.
Oh, no. You have your hands up.
Oh, cool.
Ensemble should have your hands up. Directors can have their hands down. I'll go really quick. Red Rover, why don't you come over?
Ooh.
And then you pick your emoji now.
Oh.
Oh, guess what, directors? This is my horrible thumbs up that I drew. So goodbye, ensemble. So Kendra, you're the last person left. I think we'll make you the leader really quick. See how many people you can get back on your team. But now you have everybody to choose from. So now the rest of us are all playing.
Okay, so something.
Or you can write down the words somewhere just so we know that you're not changing it. And then we'll try to figure it out.
Okay.
So it's everyone versus Kendra. Okay.
Everybody versus Kendra.
Going down, Kendra.
Okay, so I just say this. Red Rover, why don't you come on over? Okay.
You might have
clap. Fred, back, clap.
Oh!
Yes.
So who's on Kendra's team now? Raise your hands.
Clap.
I think.
I think all of
Who
us.
did the clap?
We did not. We didn't make it. We did.
For actors.
Is it so? If you get it right, you join the team, or if you get it wrong, you join the team.
If
We're
you
wrong.
get it,
Yeah, we got it wrong.
I thought it was get it right, you join the team.
Yeah, that's not us, Rachel.
I think that is what you said, but the logic of the game probably is if you get it wrong, right? That makes sense.
Well, that was a lot of fun. Thank you all for playing. The game was definitely complicated, but I think we made it work. Good for you, everybody. Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you, Emmy. It was great to see. We haven't done like the curating and the ensemble kind of discussion of rules and everything. That was really great to see that consensus work there. And also in the follow-up survey this week, I have one question for each of the directors so you can give them more specific feedback depending on how much time we have later. Next up, Monica Flory. And directors, you can hide your video. She's just asking for Carla and Rachel, and she's going to be doing an exploration of the fourth wall. Monica, over to you.
Great, thank you, Carrie. Hi, everyone. So Rachel and Carla, I'm wondering, did you get a chance to explore with the homework?
Yes.
About the choosing an activity? Fantastic. Okay, so just so everyone else knows, the homework was to choose an activity that can be done close to the screen, close to the camera, something you might do alone. And the first stage is just doing the activity alone. Then there's a moment where you become aware that an audience is watching you. And then the third phase is to either invite the audience into the watching or into the activity. So I was wondering, are you two comfortable just going through the homework that you did first and just do it and let us know when it's over, when you're sort of at the end of those 3 steps? Would that work?
Yes, I invite someone into my activity, so there's kind of a call and response just at the end, but it's fine without it also.
Great. Great. So it would be useful to you to have a live audience member? Fantastic. Fantastic. Would one of the other ensemble members be okay with jumping in to be that ensemble member? Oh. Fab. Okay,
I'm sorry, do you want an ensemble member or anybody?
An ensemble member would be amazing, or anybody would be fine. Sorry, because I can't see people, I don't know how to navigate that. Lydia, thank you. Awesome. Okay, so let's start out with just seeing Rachel's activity the whole way through. I'm going to go off screen. I'm going to stop my video. And then we'll go through the same thing with you, Carla. Here we go. So Carla, you and I can go off. All right, and when you're ready, Rachel, you can begin.
Okay. Young man, there's no need to feel down. I said, young man, pick yourself off the ground. I said, young man, 'cause you're in a new town. There's no need to be unhappy. What? Like right now? Oh. Young man, there's a place you can go. I said, young man, when you're short on your dough, you can stay there. And I'm sure you will find many ways to have a good time. It's fun to stay at the. It's fun to stay at the. Yeah, you can have everything for young men to enjoy. You can hang out with the boys. I'm done now.
Hooray! Fabulous. Thank you. Great. All right. Carla, you're up. Do you also want an audience member? Oh, you're still on mute.
I'm not talking to people. So
Oh, fab. Okay, great. So we'll disappear.
You can stay. I just don't. I'm not going to talk to you. Everybody can stay if they want.
Fab. If you just let us know when you're done, that's
Okay.
great. Okay. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Mhm. That's it.
Fabulous. Thank you so much. Wonderful. All right, so let's play around with this. Let's see if we can take those pieces and put them together in the way that instead of sort of becoming aware of us as the audience, you become aware of each other, and then sort of play off each other. How does that sound? Should we give it a try?
Try it.
Great. Let's do it.
Young man, there's no need to feel down. I said, young man, pick yourself off the ground. I said, young man, 'cause you're in a new town. There's no need to be unhappy. Young man, There's a place you can go, I said, young man. When you're short on your dough, you can stay there. And I'm sure you will find many ways to have a good time. It's fun to stay at the It's fun to stay at the They have everything for young men to enjoy. You can hang out with all the boys. Carla, you were on mute the whole time.
Oops. Doggone it. Shoot. Doggone it.
But it wasn't a bad thing. Look.
No, it was really interesting.
Did you know I was saying, who are you? Where are you?
I kind of saw like, what's happening? What do I hear?
Exactly, because you're singing. Oh, doggone it. I have my glasses on. Let me see. Shoot. Okay. Oh, there it is. It had the red thing. And I was like, what's that red thing? All right.
Thank you so much for your work. We're almost out of time. So I was just curious if there were any discoveries you made either in rehearsal or during that time that might be valuable to any of us, or anything you found out.
When you're doing it like what I did, and I was choosing a couple of things. It's like to do something to relate to the audience. It is, you have to think about what it's going to be. You know, I thought about the apple, and I was, how long can I do that, and how can I offer somebody an apple? And I chose not to. I chose to like pretend like there was nobody there, and I know that was not the direction. But I was like, maybe if I see not that way. But then I had also tried taking my contact falling out. I did that first. My contact fell out, and I did the whole thing, and then the person's looking at me in there, and then I was like, well, how do I include them in that? And then I was able to do that but then I experimented with a few things, but I realized that there was limitations to pulling people in at the end. You know, singing, that was great. Like Rachel, that was like, and then, or else kind of know, I mean, the whole right now kind of pulled us in like right away. So.
Yeah, I had when I was rehearsing it, my original plan had been to do like smoking a pipe or something and like inviting and like blowing the smoke at the audience. But some people might not like that. So then I chose not to do that. And then I had to think of like, what song does everybody 100% know just like some part of? I was the only one to think of, but it was, and like everybody's done that, you know, you're like in the shower. So it was like that kind of connection relationship. It was really cool putting it together, being like someone was actually there that I was responding to.
And to go off of that too, Monica, what she just said just took my brain another place. Like if thinking about it now, but I'm thinking about it now. So, but if it were scripted, I would pick up off of her and I would start doing her YMCA after I was like figuring out like who this person is or not caring who they are and just like, okay, I'm just gonna do the thing. I'm just gonna do it. You know, I thought about that as she was speaking. So they can go places is what I'm saying. It's not limited. I just feel there's only limitations with certain acts.
Hi, Monica. This is Carrie. You have 2 minutes.
Great. That's what I had. Thank you so much. That was so useful for me to see your performances and the way you could interact with each other and with us as an audience. That's what I had. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Next, we have Aries. He would like to come to, and I believe he has requested all 4 of the ensemble for this one. Do you want them all at the same time? You can, it's over to you.
Cool, thank you.
You're
Hi, so I really want to look at the relationship specifically between props and what you guys are doing. So with Rachel, and so I told you guys to create 3 tableaus specifically in a relationship to the prop and how the prop helps define the relationship between Red and the wolf. So if we're looking, because right now I feel like there hasn't been a decision made, or there's not enough intention developing on how she becomes wolf. Who's like, what is the relationship between Red and the wolf, which is what I'm confused on right now. And so I think that's what I want to focus on. And so we'll start with Rachel. And so you'll do your three tableaus, and then you'll restart, and then Carla will come in and do her three. And so like Rachel, Carla, Lydia, and then Kendra. And so Rachel, you're going to end up doing your tableau like 4 times. Carla, you'll do it 3 times. Lydia twice, and then Kendra, you'll just do it once. And so we'll just layer on each one each time just to start with. Okay. And I'll give the signal. I'll just say next, next, next in order to shift to the next one. Okay. And you can
Do you want us to keep our cameras on the whole time?
Yes, go ahead and keep your cameras on the whole time. So I'll take mine off.
Excellent.
And let me know if everyone's ready.
Ready?
Cool. All right, we'll start with Rachel. 1. Next. 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 Nice, hold there. Cool. All right, so let's talk about that. What are you guys getting from the props that I helped defining the relationship between you and the wolf?
They're taking me further away from my connection to the other reds.
Okay.
But it's making it more a solo thing, because that could be a choice I'm using of blocking out a lot of it. I have no idea what anyone else did. So it was very a solo exercise than a group one for that one.
Okay. Did anyone else feel that way?
Yeah, I felt very solo, especially because I think from the beginning she's on a hunt, in me. So this felt like a solo hunt. If that makes sense. This made me feel by myself, feel connected, but I didn't feel alone. I felt like I was for them, but I didn't feel with them. Yeah.
I don't know if the, oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Rachel.
I was gonna say, I don't know if the props really connect me to the wolf at all. They definitely connect me to Red, just simply because it's like a red prop, the prop as Red. So it's definitely a following Red's journey to become the wolf, but the wolf isn't as impactful to me as what Red's going through, I guess.
So who is the wolf? So I guess how does it relate to it? So for example, there are tons of different ways in which, if maybe the cape is what's keeping Red in her form and not keeping her from transforming into the wolf, is the red cloak making her transform into the wolf? What is the like right now there's no connection between the wolf and Red. And so I'm trying to make us a little bit more intentional about what that is, because right now we've completely left out the wolf.
I guess. Oh, go ahead, Carla.
Well, for the wolf, for me, it's instant. Like I don't think my Red very much comes through. She's there first, and then wolf is for me. The wolf in me is there, like right at the start. but it's like you see me, Red, but then for myself and my story, I hear something that makes me react the way that I do in my first tableau, which I become Wolf immediately. Like there's no, for me, I don't think there's no transition through it. So I don't even know how my prop even helped me, other than it didn't help me with connecting Wolf, Red and Wolf. I don't think, maybe it did, but Red is barely there. Wolf is there throughout all of my tableaus, if that makes sense. So.
Yeah, yeah,
Go
go ahead,
Liz.
Kendra.
Oh, let's see. For me, I've always taken this story as being a metaphor for telling women, don't go out into the world, listen to your mother, otherwise bad things will happen to you. So for me, the prop, the knowledge, I guess, discovering that is what it gives her the knowledge, and she becomes the wolf. She becomes this evil thing by sort of gaining whatever she's learned from the book. So maybe the prop needs to be part of the story and help you make that transition.
Yeah, and for my version of Red, I kind of related a little bit to like the Hulk and the Avengers, you know, so like when the Hulk says to everybody, you know, that's my secret, I'm always angry, like that's kind of how I'm such a dork. That's kind of how like I thought about it with Red, is that, you know, she's always Wolf, but she tries to find all these other things to prevent her from being Wolf. So again, I'm not sure if the prop necessarily is the thing that instigates or hulks her out or whatever, wolfs her out. I'm not sure.
Aries, while everybody was talking, I felt we connected that way. I don't know if it was a connection through it was almost like with the book, with the knowledge being there, and what Lydia just said, and even what Rachel just said, like, I think we all, I don't know if we connected because of we could have connected because of the props, but I don't know that the props, us using them in this instance, made a connection between Red and Wolf. However, I think that the four of us connected Red and Wolf. Do you understand what I mean? Like, I think Wolf is like Lydia and I there, and Kendra and Rachel are at a different level of Reds, if that makes sense. So together we're Red and Wolf together. Like Kendra and Rachel are more so Reds, and I think Lydia and I are more so Wolf.
Like the wolf is inside you already, and both
Already
Kendra finds the wolf in a way.
Yeah. Or Kendra, maybe, like she said, she's studying the wolf. She's aware of the wolf. I think what Lydia just said, we just get hulked out a whole lot. Like we just come out hulking. Like we're just there. Like I just think that's how it presented to me. Like while we were doing.
Connect us? Like if we all the same prop and we're reacting? Would that, I don't know, make it feel sort of like one unified performance?
I guess I'm trying to figure out like what what you want as a director is you want us to find some connection to the wolf by means of the prop. Is that what you want?
For the prop, so the prop could be simple as the red shawl that you're wearing, and so really trying to define some significance, color red, and your relationship to the wolf, because right now there hasn't been any significance or any intentional significance on what the relationship between Red and the wolf is from the beginning. We're trying to study Red and the wolf, and we've only done work on Reds, and there's been, and everybody can have their difference of opinions, and that's great, but just trying to figure out what the cohesion is. And so, and if you have a very different story, that's fine, just making sure that it comes through with that.
Oh, okay. So then you're not really wanting us to work as an ensemble. You're wanting for us to work individually as actors to find our connection to Wolf with our individual props.
Yes, and through that you do end up working as an ensemble. And so like I think the other thing is the focus. And so like you guys are working, so like when I'm looking at my screen, I get to choose who I want to focus on. And so when it is very choreographed and when it is connected, there are times when it's like, okay, like a lot of the images were very strong and seemed very cohesive, even though you guys felt a little bit more isolated as a performer. And so really trying to figure out, you guys trying to connect with each other versus how do we create a performance or how do we create an experience audience. And so really how much of this space is yours and how much is it creating something for the audience that the audience can experience in a montage type way or just very experiential.
Can we try that again then with that in mind? Because to be honest with you, I think maybe just because of the way that our process has gone throughout this lab, I'm constantly looking for connection with my other actors. So can we try it again with us knowing that for right now, we're just focused on us and our prop?
Yes. And I think, and with that, I guess.
I don't know if that'll change anything for me though. I mean, I'll do this because that's how I already felt. I felt totally separate from you guys already.
Yeah, I think looking at how do we determine external stimuli. And so your external stimuli can be, yes, your partner, but it can also be whatever you're drawing energy from. So if it is the red cape, if it is the difference in frame, and so looking at, okay, if I'm farther away from the screen versus if the fourth wall is if I'm facing a different way. So that was also some of the things I was looking at with the tableaus. It was like, do the tableau facing a completely different way? And how are we as a spectator viewing that? So what if the fourth wall is not on your face? What if the fourth wall is behind you? What if we're viewing you from behind? What if we're viewing you from the side? And continuing to play relationship between audience, performer, red, wolf, and where we're in this.
As an actor, it's very, like in this space, like having these frames, that's a very interesting concept because as soon as I turn away, I don't know what you can see. I don't know if I moved out of frame. You know, like as soon as I'm focusing not quite here, I don't know what I'm giving you. I don't know. It's very weird. I don't know how to explain that. Yeah.
I think I understand now. Sorry, Aries, because I totally like see my notes. So I got it now because I didn't have it before, obviously. This doesn't work for me. So I don't even know how to incorporate it in here just to say that. So I'm going to use what you said, Aries. I'm going to use my frame, which is what I wrote in my notes.
And the thing with the frame, so like, I think afraid to turn to the side. Again, still, like it's still like your partners are still there. You also have the rest of your room to work with, and then you can come to notice, oh, there's a world, like there's two worlds you're playing with. And so kind of going what Monica was playing with, like both of you were trying to do something by yourself, but you guys were very aware that you were being watched the whole time. So like you were performing, even though you were like, oh, I'm trying to create some public solitude, you were still performing the whole thing, even when it was, I'm by myself, you know?
Aries, this is Carrie. You have about 2 minutes left.
Thank you. So let's just try it again. So we'll work with the tableaus, and again, and be very exact with when it starts, and so like give the position and then freeze for a moment and let that moment sit in. Find the story within the stillness. And it's hard. It's really hard. It's difficult because a lot of times you're like, well, I'm not doing enough. I'm not doing enough. Trust me, you are. Okay. The camera is so close to you. If you've ever done film acting, less is more. Know it, don't show it. Okay. All right. So we'll start. So, and I'll do 1, 2, 3. And then Carla, don't start until Rachel gets back to 1. Okay.
Okay.
And then Lydia, don't start till Carla gets back to 1. And then Kendra, don't start until Lydia gets back to 1. Okay. So Carla, you'll start on my second one. Lydia, you start on my third one. Kendra, you start on my fourth one. Okay. Let's just try it. All right. Rachel, you ready? All right. 1. 2. 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. All right, thank you.
Thank you so much, Aries. That was
Thank you, Aries.
very interesting. Can't wait to talk to get all the feedback about all of these. Okay, and for our final experiment today, Kelly, would you please join us? And so we'll be working with Lydia and Kendra with your second devices.
Thank you. Hi, ladies. So did you have a chance to set up your second, like I assume your phone and everything? So this is probably going to be less acting-y than more just technical stuff. Carrie, I don't know if you can control everybody's video. Like if I want to see like profile view on them, if you're able to do that, or if we need the actors to do that.
I can. I think it's better if they do it, because if I shut off their video, they have to turn it back on. You cannot activate, probably for privacy reasons, but I, as the host, cannot turn somebody's video camera on. Only the participant can do that themselves.
Okay, cool. So I will leave myself. And yeah, Lydia, if you want to get your second one up, and then I'll kind of tell each of you which to turn off. Sorry. Okay, cool. So do you guys still have the tree background from the very first day? If you can put that on, just to normalize everything. Yeah, on the phones, it's a little trickier, I think. I don't know if you can do it on phones, so that's okay. Okay. So actually, this looks really cool. On your second device, can you both turn the other way? Because on my screen, you're not facing each other when you're profiling. You're facing away from each other. That makes sense? Yeah. So go one more 90 degrees, Lydia. Yeah. Good. Yeah, Lydia, you're perfect. And Kendra's getting things set up. So I'm wondering if, Kendra, 90 more degrees to your, I think, your left.
I'm sorry, I need one moment. I've got a fur baby that's going crazy right now. I need to I'll be right back. I'm so sorry.
Problem. That's okay.
Sorry about that. I'm back.
Oh, that's okay. I'm surprised my two are not meowing right now as well. Okay, Kendra, you are, that's okay. If you can just bring your, actually you're fine. So can you guys turn, well, leave them on, I think, actually. Leave everything on. And so what I want to try to do is, using Lydia's monologue from last week, I want this to kind of be a conversation between Lydia and Kendra. And I think since it's sort of confessional, the monologue, if Kendra, you can do some sort of like counselor or therapist questions to get Lydia started, and Lydia, break up your monologue a bit and make Kendra draw out your next bit, if that makes sense. And so Kendra, can you just tilt the other way towards your window just a little bit and back away from the camera just a tad? There, that's good. Yeah. What happens if you guys do a profile with your main screen where you sit, so Kendra, turn to your other way. You turn to your other way, Kendra. Yeah, keep moving, 90 more degrees. And Lydia, do a 180. Okay, so that one's okay as the profile one. And I'm going to leave the other devices on because right now, I'm not sure what you guys see, but we're seeing the back of Lydia and the front of Kendra. So we'll just let that go. And then can you both turn on your microphones? Kendra, is your microphone on one of them?
Okay.
Okay, so yeah, if you just want to start that kind of scenario where Kendra, you're the counselor or the friend that's trying to get this information or confession out of Lydia, and however we need to do that.
Sorry, let me be clear. Lydia is performing her monologue and I'm just listening, or am I responding verbally?
So her monologue is her confession, and you are drawing it out bit by bit from her. So the words will be the same as the monologue, but she's not just giving it in one spiel. Do you know what I mean? So I don't know if you want her to start with her first like little sentence or bit of that monologue, and then you just respond to that to get more out of it, if that makes sense.
So I can respond by asking her questions?
Yeah,
Okay.
for sure. Yeah.
Sorry, this thing is, hold on, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay.
Figure this out.
You can leave it, Lydia, because it was interesting to see the two angles, but obviously we need like more tech rehearsal for that. We can, since you guys are being profiled now, that's getting at the other thing I was wondering about, which is having you look like you're talking to each other.
Okay.
And Carrie, can you go ahead and turn off Kendra's iPhone video?
Oh, we don't need that. Okay.
Oh, if you can do it, Kendra, that's good. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
All right. So, am I looking?
You're looking
in the right direction?
No, we're the way you were. Yeah.
That works. Okay.
Yeah.
Because then I'm looking at like the wall, but not Lydia. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, ideally you would be having your other screen, but since that was taking too long to get both of them set up to get both camera angles, is that making it hard for you to act with her?
It is, because I can't see her at all.
Can you pretend to be on the phone with her?
Yeah, I could just hold the phone if that is.
If that helps you.
Yeah, I'm just staring at a blank wall right now. So
Okay.
let's try it.
I see what you're trying to do.
Good.
So it actually would help me. Yeah, it would help me if I did put my other device on, but hid my own view.
Yeah.
Oh, I get it. Because
Yeah.
I get it. Because I want to be able to see her face so I
Yeah.
can react to her properly, but I can't because I'm staring at my wall. But if
Yeah.
there was a way that we could set up our devices so that I am actually able to look at her, but you guys don't see me looking at her, wow, that's intense.
That's the plan. But I mean, you know, this right now we see you guys both in profile as if you're looking at each other. Do you know what I mean? Like, so the illusion's a little bit better than before.
Right. Yeah. So the illusion's I mean, it's great for the audience. Just
Yeah.
as actors, we just have to work differently. That's all.
Kendra, do you get what
I
I'm
think so.
saying?
Yeah, I'm just wondering if everyone's in the same order on each person's computer. Because
Yeah,
like my
because
computer, Lydia's looking at the back of my head.
Yep. On my screen too, I'm looking at the back of Kendra's head.
This is all a good learning experience here.
So I don't know why I'm looking at the back of Kendra's head, because what camera is getting the back of Kendra's head? Do you still have yours? Oh, she has her second device still on? I don't know why you're seeing that, Lydia.
No, it's just the way that it is on my screen. I think it might, I don't know. Because Carl's saying that it looks like we're looking at each other on his.
Yeah. So
but same with Carla's. Oh, thank you, Carrie. Because you are always the first on your own screen.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. That's why we need the second camera. So you're just looking at, you know, her front, her, you know, whatever speaker. You know, if you'd hide you, then or put you back on. Anyway, this was the plan. Is like I said, it's more of a technical kind of playing technology. The trees are still being weird and cutting your faces off. Can you guys switch to the smoky one?
My computer's super old. That's probably why it's a little bit more.
Oh no, it's fine.
Let's see. Sweet, I look like a zombie.
Tell me what it's like being undead.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't know if you girls want to try it and if it would help you like having your phones with you so you can pretend to be on the phone, or if you can like for a couple minutes pretend to see someone in front of you just to see if this works that way, or if it's
I'll play along. I'll pretend like she's in front of me.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can see her image when she talks on my phone. So let's just try it.
Okay, cool.
I was born to be in love.
What do you mean?
I need it. Not want. Need.
Why?
Being in love makes me a better person. It makes me nicer. It keeps my head calm.
Do you really believe that?
I give myself to whomever it is I'm in love to. I disappear. And I know that that's unhealthy, but it's the greater choice of two evils.
I don't think it is.
When my heart is full, when my heart is not full, when my heart has a void, and God forbid, when my heart is broken, I become a monster.
You're not a monster.
I live in dark.
Well, how would you find the light?
I'll hurt you.
You don't mean that.
I will become Wolf.
Cool. That was really good. It was interesting because Kendra kind of had some of her face to us just in her posture, and that helps. So I think that's part of this is it can't be, I'm using gestures right now. It can't be, really one-to-one like that. If there is a little bit of the kind of 3/4 view, so as if you're talking to someone, but we still see part of your face. I think this is gonna work better. So anyway, that was my experiment. Thank you guys.
That's cool.
Yeah, for humoring me. So
Thank you. All the directors can come back, turn on your video, and come on back and join us. Let's give a little feedback. And while we have about 15 minutes left, and then of course I'll be sending you out that follow-up survey and making sure you all get all of those comments. I don't know if you've been reading them, but they've been really interesting, especially after people get to watch the video and think about it a little bit more. First of all, thank you so much, directors, for stepping into the director's chair. I don't know how much teaching and directing you've been doing on Zoom, but it's definitely another kind of skill set to be able to communicate in this way. And so thank you so much for sharing that. Awesome. All right, so what feedback do we have? What moments really stood out for you today? How was it chatting and kind of being a live audience participant? How was it being, public as audience? Rachel?
I'd say today felt the most like a big laboratory experiment than we've definitely been working and obviously working on things every time, but having so many different ideas of what to work on and different things I hadn't even thought of to work on, and having everyone's different opinions oh no, Carla's mute button didn't work, but that was sick. You wouldn't always notice that. So just having this amount of people working on it and putting their ideas in and just trying to see what works for everybody, really cool. Thank you, Carrie.
Very cool, Carrie.
We'll have to do this again, I think.
Yeah.
I love collaborating. That's why we're here, right? Devising, collaborating, ensemble.
Yeah, as an actor, that was super fun because, right? Because we got to work with 5 different directors. And while we've spent all this time with you, Care, doing all of this stuff, and I've worked with you before, the other 4 directors, I've never worked before. And so, it was interesting, in that really, really quick amount of time, we needed to figure out how the directors worked, you know what I mean? And and what they wanted and their communication skills and all of that stuff. And so I think it was really interesting and fun and challenging as an actor to, hone in really quickly to what our directors wanted. It was fun. It was.
Yeah.
Directors, do you have any feedback about how it was either observing? Okay, Carly, we'll take you. And then other directors directing today too, what did you bump up against? And I'd like to hear your feedback as well. Carly?
That was really fun watching other directors direct because we never get to do that. We never get to watch and especially in this where I think some of us have been doing this. I know I've been doing this and I'm what's working, what's not working, and then seeing other directors how they're working in this in Zoom was super helpful and gave me lots of thoughts and lots of things to think about.
Great, thank you. Directors, how was it for you today directing here? and did you, I could hear some of your feedback, of course, but.
well, obviously, like I said, I was off camera, but using my hands as I do, which I'm oh, right, I have to use better words or turn my camera on. And just kind of off of what Lydia said, jumping in with an ensemble, I mean, we kind of had a better time of it because we've been watching you for 2 weeks, so we kind of already know, but it's different from actually working with you for 2 weeks and then doing more work. So it's sort of the same as getting the feel of the people and what you need to say to communicate best with the particular people, not just generally. But it was fun. Yeah, I have to say as well, this is the first professional development-ish thing that I came across when all this went down, and it really reignited my desire to be creative during this time. So I really appreciate that, Carrie. Like it was dormant and kind of depressed for a while. And then there was something about this, even though for the first couple of weeks we weren't doing that much, that was better than just like watching theater on Zoom and stuff like that. Like really just playing around. And like you said, who knows where this will go. It was just fun to play. So I really appreciate that. Thank you for thinking of stuff and inviting us all.
Yeah, my wheels are already turning about how we can continue to do this kind of work. Yeah, Saffron.
This just gave me so many like great ideas. Like I had to start writing them down during this. I especially loved Kelly's with the different angles. I also do film as well, and this would provide like such a great way to get different angles and then like edit later, like through like iMovie or something like that. So I absolutely love that. So thank you, Kelly.
Awesome, thank you. Yeah, Diana.
Yeah, I also think that it was just really fun to get to see, you know, like Carrie, you've been meeting with the actors and rehearsing a little bit before, you know, we get to see what's happening. And it was kind of fun to see the work with each of the other directors, like navigating, figuring things out. Like, I mean, even just figuring out like, you know, the backgrounds, oh, that's not working. So, you know, scrap that. Or, you know, if you take your second device and put it over here and turn this way, and, you know, I mean, it's like the logistics of that was actually really helpful to see. I also really appreciated, Emmy, like the game, you know, and like, you know, really finding a way to like have a collaborative experience of like, okay, who remembers the rules to this game? How do we take those rules and apply them to this? I just think it was a really good, especially if you're working on some like a devising project, creating a sense of ensemble, creating a sense of collaboration. I think that it sets a really nice tone of, you know, okay, well, what's your idea? You know, it was really fun. So thank you, everybody. It was great.
Okay. Any other reactions? Carl, was that a hand?
I was just going to say, I mean, I have appreciated all 3 weeks of this. All 4 workshop pieces today taught me things. I was taking copious notes. I agree. Figuring out the low stakes collaborative energy, figuring out how to reinvent a game is such a wonderful way to get the juices flowing without there being sort of any consequences. And I really appreciated, like I learned things about the mechanics of how to do this work today that I didn't understand before. For instance, there seems to be, I've had spatial questions, like how do you direct in space when you're not in space with people? And so watching Kelly sort of go through that, like negotiate, no, you need to be at 6 o'clock. Okay, 12 o'clock faces me. Everybody has clocks. You know, that like we need to tape out direction on the floor so that you have a shorthand and the language is not getting in the way of impulse all the time. Taught me something. And then I loved watching Aries assemble the tableaus, because before when we've done tableau work, it's been very confusing for me. Like it's too much sensory input and I can't see what I'm looking at to know what resonates with me. But this, so architectural, I got to watch the pieces repeat and then mutually illuminate each other in a really slow and controlled way. And that's the way to build. I think that's the way to build things. That building block approach taught me how to do that work. So I've gained a ton from it. I really appreciate all of the directors' work and all of the ensembles work and Carrie together. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that. Carla?
To piggyback off of what Carl said too, like how watching it come together and what you said with the perfect, what did you say about Aries did the, like an architect, and see that appeals as an actor to all of my avenues as a choreographer, as a director, as a doing film, small film and theater. When he said what he said, it was like, oh, okay, now I know what he's talking about, because I think I overthought it. I think we all, we overthought it. I know I overthought it. I was like, I don't know, make connection to this. But then it was amazing to watch us being like manipulated, you know, and I'm not a manipulatable person, but I like how he did that. And all of you directors, like really that worked with us today, it's so refreshing for you to pull out stuff in us that maybe we didn't even know was there, and then the light comes on and we're like, oh, that's what you wanted. Okay, I know that, right? And then even as an actor too, sometimes we rehearse, and then when we get in front of it, because I know I totally froze the first time. I was like, I didn't do none of my stuff except for this. I knew it. I was like, okay. And I only did it one time. So I was like, but for us to be able to get directed like by all of you, it was amazing. And in space to do this in space is like beautiful. Like this was a beautiful process. Like it's a beautiful process.
Thank you, Carla. Anyone else have well, I'm looking forward to reading your feedback after you've had some time to kind of digest and see what sticks with you and what new epiphanies you may have. I'm also really excited now to go back and look at the first rehearsal that we had because I really didn't, the very first conversation, it was just a conversation, not a rehearsal. So I haven't seen these, I have not worked with these actors. We did a couple of technical, maybe just setting up the double devices today, for example, but I didn't rehearse with them outside of what you saw. That was just what they were bringing to, as a result of the prompts. So that was part of my process too, was to see how they reacted, what they were taking from it. And of course, here we are dealing with professional actors. So there's a lot of, thinking about that in who we are working with as directors. But as you could see today, they all have a neutral background. We were, working with and without the virtual backgrounds. We're getting steps closer and learning that vocabulary. I'm really glad that you guys pointed that out today because I keep saying this is a new skill set. It's theatrical. And I'm calling it, live performance, live virtual performance, but it really is a specific skill set. And thank you so much for coming and participating and being this open. I'm really excited and already thinking about how we can continue to do some of this work, and maybe we'll get to do some more open rehearsals in the future because I learned so much today. I'm totally, if there were any experts here, we'd be paying for taking a class from somebody. This was an experimental laboratory, and you all helped us perform these experiments. So just even your presence in the first couple and all of your feedback has been amazing. And I think we'll be publishing it, and you are welcome to share all of these resources. I'm not being precious about this. I wanted it to be an educational experience, as in sharing, because I feel like there's a lot of lessons to be learned, but we can just jump over some of that when we work together and share these ideas. So I encourage you all to keep in touch. If anyone is interested in helping me with a Facebook group, because I want to see your projects. I want to see what you guys come up with. I want to see what you discover, and if there are other people doing similar work, and when you have things in the future, and even just conversations, or if somebody, hey, I'm having an open rehearsal, who wants to come, just be a pair of eyes, because I think being in those of you who are in the director's chair today, like that focus, it's hard to see what's happening. I mean, one of our advantages is that we can record. But in the moment, oh, hey, what about this? Or what about that? It's sometimes that's awesome. And we don't, Carla, you're right. We don't do that. I love to invite other directors into the process. This was more than I have ever done before. So, all right. So I'm going to save this chat. I'm going to get all these resources to you. I hope that you go forth and make amazing devised projects, and that we hear about your projects in the future. Thank you so much for participating, and do the Zoom wave.
Thank you.
Bye. It's so crazy to see everyone disappear.
No.
Okay, I'm going to stop recording.